My fellow citizens and residents, on December 18th, 2017, you went out in overwhelming numbers and elected the Concerned Citizens Movement to serve the island of Nevis. We were then and are today grateful for the opportunity to serve our people. I'm especially grateful that you saw in me the qualities of a servant leader that would serve in your best interests. In the 5 years since then, your government has sought to live up to its ethos of putting our people first. Our accomplishments, despite considerable odds, have been many. It is a record which we can be proud of and which has benefited the people of our beloved Nevis significantly. This government was forced to confront the first global pandemic in 100 years, when the COVID-19 pandemic erupted in March of 2020. For 2 years, our island went through lockdowns and curfews and quarantines. No other government in the history of Nevis has ever had to confront such a calamity. I believe that those 2 years allowed our people to see the true mettle of the CCM leadership in government. We committed early to do all in our power to keep our people safe, to keep our public servants paid in full and on time, and to innovate and find ways and means to combat the effects of the pandemic. To demonstrate leadership and solidarity with our people, every member of cabinet took a pay cut for 3 months, and in my case, I took no salary or benefits as Premier for some 20 months. The pandemic tested our mettle, but with God's grace and guidance, we withstood the worst of times and emerged with the best record of COVID management in the region, with the lowest deaths, lowest hospitalization rate, and among the highest vaccination rates. I am so proud of our cabinet, our frontline workers, and the leadership of our own Dr. Judy Nisbet, who guided our response. In health, we have invested in new ambulances, additional diagnostic equipment, including a brand new state-of-the-art 128-slice Philips CT scan machine, hired and trained additional nurses, hired additional doctors, introduced our first ever ear, nose, and throat specialist clinics for free, purchased new garbage trucks and other equipment for solid waste, introduced a plastic recycling program, opened the island's first ever mental health facility at Prospect, and are currently embarked on the largest ever construction project in the history of healthcare in Nevis, our new hospital, Alexandra, which is scheduled to be completed next year. In education, your CCM government has put in place a maintenance team which has ensured regular maintenance and ongoing upgrades to all of our schools. During COVID, our hard-working team undertook considerable work to retrofit our schools and make them safer for students and teachers alike. We introduced a blended approach, which saw students getting both online and in-person sessions. We provided tablets to students who needed them and internet access for free to homes that had none. Working with the Winsong Foundation, we have secured some 6 new school buses over the past few years, which has allowed us to expand our bus service to our students. This partnership has also seen the delivery of 250 tablets for our students, laptops for our teachers, and music equipment for our NCDF. In our ongoing thrust for greater technical training, we have already constructed a TVET Center in Gingerland and shall soon construct a larger center in Charlestown. These TVET centers will allow our people to get technical training and certification in a number of areas right here on Nevis. In agriculture, we have emphasized food security, offered free feed to our livestock farmers, free fish pot wire to our fishers, free seeds, seedlings, fertilizer, fencing, land preparation, shade houses, and water to our crop farmers, expanded our abattoir and the range of products offered there, created a 30-acre fruit orchard at Indian Castle, including the planting of 5,000 coconut palms, transformed the former Taiwanese farm at Cades Bay into an agro-tourism farm, commissioned the Laurenston Parry Storage Depot at Prospect to extend the shelf life of produce and improve the cattle farm at Maddens, including the introduction of new breeds. In water, We have created some 3,030,000 imperial gallons of water storage, installed a treatment plant at Hamilton, which added 216,000 imperial gallons of water per day to our water supply, upgraded the water distribution mains throughout the length and breadth of Nevis, and reduced water outages and disruptions to a bare minimum. In electricity, we have invested significantly in purchasing 2 brand new Wärtsilä engines for our power plant at Prospect, which has allowed us to stabilize the power grid and reduce electricity outages to a minimum. Even as the cost of fuel has risen sharply across the world, as a caring government, we took steps to provide significant relief to our people. We have simultaneously pursued the development of geothermal energy, which has new impetus with the assistance of the federal government and the Caribbean Development. Geothermal energy, when harnessed, will free our island home of fossil fuels and make Nevis the greenest place on planet Earth. It will create new industries based on hydrogen and allow us to manufacture fertilizer from ammonia. It will also permit Nevis to export energy to our sister St. Kitts and other neighboring islands. At the proposed 9 cents per kilowatt hour, Nevis promises to have the cheapest and cleanest electricity in the region, paving the way for significant savings for our people and the transition to electric cars and scooters as environmentally friendly means of transport. In housing, we have witnessed a quiet revolution. For the first time in our history, we have housing developments happening simultaneously at Maddens, Cherry Gardens, Craddock Road, Hamilton, University Heights, and Rices. Our housing program through the Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation has afforded scores of young people, and especially single mothers, an opportunity to own their own home. Throughout this term, we are building some 170 affordable and medium-income homes and have benefited some 170 families, despite the 2-year hardship caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. In providing social safety nets for our people, I am proud that this government has provided free water, electricity, and bus passes to our senior citizens. We have provided food vouchers, rent support, and other financial support to those among us needing such support. We have expanded our range of counseling and mental health support to our people. We have invested significantly in programs to offer our disaffected youths alternative pathways. On the economy, we have been relentless in creating jobs and diversifying the local economy. I am proud that through a partnership with MSR Media, we have now produced 8 feature films on Nevis, with the release of Christmas in the Caribbean out now. This fledgling movie industry employs some 90 persons locally in good-paying jobs and has resulted in divisions gaining valuable experience in all aspects of filmmaking. When many doubted that we could create a film industry here, your CCM government said, yes, we can. We recognize the tremendous value of the small and micro business sector. This government provided some $5 million seed funding for women and youth-owned businesses, offering low-interest loans to persons who could not otherwise access financing of up to $100,000. Thus far, we have disbursed some $1,987,690.36 to 54 micro and small businesses on Nevis, and we continue to invite women and youth entrepreneurs to apply to our Small Enterprise Development Unit for assistance under this initiative. We waived the 10% alien landholding license real estate fee, allowing realtors to sell more villas on the island. This initiative, since extended to December 2022, has thus far seen real estate sales of over $100 million. This, in turn, has led to considerable construction activity, as many new owners are now retrofitting and modernizing their homes. We remove VAT and customs duties on all construction valued at over $30,000. The result has been a boom in construction, with our planning department reporting some 168 active construction sites currently on Nevis. Our job numbers have been encouraging and show the level of recovery post-COVID. Social Security statistics as of July 2022 show that for the period of July 2021 to July 2022, jobs in Nevis increased by 6.4%. Some 7.1% of the workforce held multiple jobs, an increase of a whopping 54.6% over 2021. Of note is that as at December 2020, when the island was closed due to COVID, total jobs in Nevis stood at 4,600. As at July 2022, the total jobs stood at 5,600, an increase of 1,000 jobs, or 21.7%. While we acknowledge that there is still work to be done, the economic recovery has thus far been phenomenal. In public infrastructure, your CCM government has been able to deliver the beautiful Malcolm Gishard Recreational Park, realizing the vision of the late great Malcolm Gishard. This park has had just over 35,000 visitors since it opened less than 1 year ago. We have now received financing from the Taiwanese government to pursue additional development at Pinnace Beach and expect that work to start in the next 2 weeks. We have undertaken and completed major road projects in Brown Hill, Shaw's Road, Braziers, Hamilton, Farms, and the Island Main Road. Projects at Butler's, Bath, and a second phase of the Island Main Road are ongoing. In each of these projects, except the Island Main Road, we have used our local engineers and contractors and the skilled men and women of our Public Works Department. The days of an NRP premier telling divisions they were not competent to deliver major infrastructure in Nevis are over. Using our own people has allowed skills to develop and has kept significant sums circulating in the local economy instead of being repatriated abroad. Our young contractors can now get work. Our truck and heavy equipment operators can now get work. In addition, we have invested in significant equipment to better build our roads, such as a brand new paver and milling machine at an investment of over $1 million. We are truly building Nevis by us and for us. In sport, your CCM government saw the wisdom in investing in an athletic track facility, using the latest technology from Mondo, and creating a 9-lane track. This has allowed our athletes the ability to train on a proper IAAF certified surface, which has better prepared them to compete nationally, regionally, and internationally. No more will our athletes be forced to run on grass and dirt at the ETW Park. We have refurbished and are in the process of lighting all sporting facilities in Nevis. We have produced a brand new netball, basketball, and tennis complex at the Grell Hull Stevens facility in Charlestown. We have refurbished basketball courts in Gingerland, Churchground, Bath, Ramsbury, Jessops, and the Cotton Ground. We have built the VOJ and cricket venue and improved the cricket venues at Brown Hill and Swamp. In cricket, we have provided financial support to all teams and players representing Nevis and have partnered with our own West Indies great Keith Atherton to inaugurate a training facility at the ETW Park. We saw the wisdom in investing in our water taxi operators and spent roughly $6 million on acquiring waterfront property in Wally and constructing the water taxi pier. This investment by the government has allowed the 100% Nivision-owned water taxi business to flourish and has revolutionized travel between Nevis and St. Kitts. We are, even as I speak, building out the reception and office area and acquiring lands for parking. On crime, we have never relented in seeking to tackle this social problem. I am delighted that through a variety of initiatives, working with the federal government, we have dramatically reduced crime and in particular violent crime on our beloved island. Our people now move about far more freely and safely than before. Of particular relevance has been our deployment of technology, such as CCTV along our Island Main Road and in Charlestown. We have supported that initiative with a sophisticated CCTV command center, which is manned 24 hours each day. Our security forces now have another critical tool to assist in the fight against crime. To further support our security forces, we have built a state-of-the-art police and fire station at Newcastle to replace the dilapidated structure that used to be there. Our police and fire officers are now far more comfortable living and working in a modern building that is fit for purpose. I am proud to advise that we are also in advanced talks to establish a Coast Guard and military base on Nevis for the first time in our history. I am so happy that we have been able to fix long-standing sewage issues for the proud homeowners at Cherry Gardens and ameliorated a potential health hazard there. We have also assisted homeowners in the Golden Grove community in Brown Hill. We continue to demonstrate that our people matter most. Given the scarcity of government lands available for development for our people, your CCM government has embarked upon significant land acquisition at Garner's Estate, Herbert's Beach, and Wally, and is currently finalizing a land swap to permit the people of Barnesgut the opportunity to expand their village. To our valued non-national community, your CCM-led government has not once, not twice, but on 3 occasions granted amnesty and reduced work permit costs so that you can regularize your status and be comfortable in your new home of Nevis. Unlike the NRP government, which used to vilify, harass, and deport non-nationals, your CCM government has a policy of inclusion rather than exclusion. Nevis now boasts a multicultural and multiracial society. We cherish you and welcome the contribution you're making to our national development. Our non-established workers have complained for decades that they contribute for sometimes 40 years and then leave empty-handed on retirement. Your CCM-led government has heard the cries, and as of September 1st, 2022, has introduced a retirement package for non-established workers. This is intended to bring great relief and comfort to our NE workers in their retirement years. This is a significant achievement as we continue to put people at the center of our development. For our public servants, I am proud that your CCM government has delivered the largest pay increase in the history of Nevis at 15%, payable in tranches of 5% per year over 3 years. We have already paid 5%, and another 5% will be paid on January 1st, 2023, and a further 5% on January 1st, 2024. I'm equally humbled that your CCM government has created history by securing not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 double salaries for our public sector workers in the past 5-year term, with the 4th such bonus salary being paid just 2 days ago. Our frontline workers who fought to keep us safe during COVID can also look forward to the payment of a $2,000 honorarium on or before November 30th, 2022. This is our way of saying thank you. When our people cried out for the rising fuel surcharge on the electricity bills caused by the war in Ukraine and suppression of supply by OPEC, your government listened, consulted, and responded. We have now removed the surcharge from domestic users and capped it at 65 cents for commercial users. This move has brought tremendous relief to homeowners all across Nevis and is further testimony to our commitment to putting our people first. Your CCM party in government has taken its commitment to women and youth seriously. Our record is a proud one. It was a CCM representative, the Honorable Jean Harris, who was the first woman elected to Parliament in Nevis. Our leader, the Honorable Vance Amory of blessed memory, reached out in 2013 and positioned the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams in the cabinet. When I became Premier in 2017, I again reached out to the Honorable Hazel Brandy and made her a cabinet member. Following in that rich tradition, your CCM has recently selected a young woman of Barnesgut, the Honorable Latoya Jones, and created history by making her the first female senator and deputy speaker in the National Assembly from the island of Nevis. Ms. Jones has now been declared a candidate for the CCM in constituency number 5, St. Thomas's, and we have every confidence that she will bring effective representation to the proud people of St. Thomas's. Your CCM government has also chosen women in succession to function as Deputy Governor General, and I record my deep appreciation to both Her Honor Marjorie Morton and Her Honor Hailita Liebert for their exceptional service to Nevis and the wider Federation. The CCM has not just talked about women empowerment. We have done it and will continue to do it. Brothers and sisters, the past 5 years have seen difficulties and unprecedented challenges. Not only did we have to confront the COVID-19 pandemic, but we were all shocked and deeply saddened at the loss of our Premier of 20 years, the Honorable Vance Amory. We continue to remember his family in our prayers and pledge to continue to build upon the rich legacy of service and sober, sensible leadership that he bequeathed to us in this great CCM party. Against this backdrop of performance, touching every single sector of our society and quality leadership that our island has enjoyed, I have today advised His Excellency the Governor General, after consultation with the Honorable Prime Minister, that the Nevis Island Assembly should be dissolved as of Friday, the 25th day of November, 2022. Nomination day for the election of representatives to the Nevis Island Assembly shall be Monday, December 5th, 2022. Election day on the island of Nevis shall be Monday, December 12th, 2022. In this election, you will have a clear choice between a solid record of performance of your CCM and government and the promises being made by the other side. I believe that our record has been an exceptional one despite the grave challenges. I commit this CCM party to waging a campaign of ideas and of hope, rather than a campaign of vilification and vitriol. I urge you, brothers and sisters, to engage in the process, to listen to the issues, and to make your vote count for the continued development and advancement of this land called Nevis that we are all privileged to call our home. It is now therefore time for the campaign, and I look forward to seeing you and hearing from you in the weeks ahead. May God continue to guide and guard us all, and may His peace and grace be upon you and your household. Thank you.
Everything my heart desires, as long as my delight is in the Lord. So
apartment. You said you weren't around my
One, two, one, two.
Put them up.
I see next side. Are you the try and lose? I see next side. Are you the try and lose? I see next side. Are you the try and lose? I see next side. Are you the try and we rolling with the big blue machine. Sticking with the big blue machine.
Good night, good night, good night. Good night, the whole of Chicken Stone, Cleggat, Pan Hill. If you're hearing me in Beach Road, over in Maynard's Ground, Taylor's Pasture, wherever you are, if you're in your homes, we are coming to you live tonight. This is the Concerned Citizens Movement. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on the way to December 12th, Election Day, here on the island of Nevis. Of course, the Concerned Citizens Movement is a godly party. So whenever we come to a meeting, we always start it off correctly. So wherever you are, could you reverence yourself as we have a word of prayer. Almighty God, who created heaven and earth, we thank you for the opportunity to be here this evening. We ask for your guidance and your blessing. Be with those who are on their way. Give them traveling mercy, dear Lord. Be with us tonight. Guide our every thought and the words that would proceed from our mouths, dear Lord. Bind us together as a people, and may all that we do be done to your honor and glory. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're happy to be here tonight in Chicken Stone, in the great parish of St. George. And St. George, as we all know in Nevis, is CCM country. The people of Gingerland have been with the Concerned Citizens Movement from the very beginning. And you have always stayed true and faithful to the CCM. The Gingerland has always been at the forefront. You have led from the front. We know for many, many years, Gingerland was the constituency of the Honorable Vance Amory of blessed memory. God rest his soul. Our leader who led the Concerned Citizens Movement for many, many years and led the island of Nevis through many of its best days. And so the Concerned Citizens Movement has a rich, rich, rich legacy in Gingerland. And you know, Chicken Stone, right here where we are, this is one of our good spots, one of our meeting spots from long time. You would notice that nowadays we have gotten all fancy and so on. We have all these big stage and so on that we put up. But when we come to Chicken Stone, we do it the traditional way. And some persons have said, you know, these are the modern days, the days when you have to go and stand up on the stage. But the Concerned Citizens Movement is a party that understands that tradition is important. And we know that every election cycle, we come right here to Chicken Stone. It's our lucky spot. And so we could not this year. We're very, very happy to be here in Chicken Stone tonight. Elections are coming, and the CCM party is ready to go. The big blue machine is ready to rumble. You know, just a couple months ago, we had a federal election, and the Concerned Citizens Movement won all 3 seats in Nevis, 9, 10, and 11. Well, now it's time for local elections. And so on December 12th, we are looking to you, the people of Nevis, to give us an increased mandate. In 2017, we were able to return 4 out of 5 seats here on Nevis. Well, we are coming back to you in 2022, and we are saying that we want all 5 seats. Football is being played right now. Football is the in thing, the World Cup. And you know, in football, they would say, we want to win 5-0. That's what we want. We don't want 3-2 or 4-1. We want 5-0. And you know, it's not just about winning for winning's sake. It is about winning so that we can better represent all of the people of Nevis, because that is what the Concerned Citizens Movement is about. In constituency number 1, we are bringing the man who is the only brand in town. Calm, cool, collected, hard-working person who delivers. In constituency number 5, this is our new candidate. We are bringing a young, talented, intelligent woman, and we are saying to the people of Nevis 5 to come over to the Concerned Citizens Movement. We want on the 12th, well, sometime after the 12th, I think by the night, the vote should be tallied. So we want by the day after, the 13th, that we know that Latoya Jones is the successful candidate and the representative for Nevis 5. We want to see what happens when we go back to cabinet a couple days after, when Alexis asks Eric, or maybe it will be Eric to ask Alexis to move over a little bit. Because we heard them talking, they said they want to put Latoya to sit between the two of them. They don't want her to come over on the other side with me and Stedman. They want her to be over on their side. You understand? But wherever she will be sitting, she will be around the table to represent the people of St. Thomas's Parish. And so we are saying to the people of St. Thomas's, send her to Parliament and send her to the cabinet to represent you, because we know that she's going to do a wonderful job. We have seen her at work. And when we go to Nevis 4, I don't have to do a lot of talking there, because anywhere you go in Nevis, everybody has seen the work that Alexis Jeffers has done. He has transformed housing, and not only transformed housing in terms of the way that things are done, but he has brought integrity to housing in a way that we had never seen before. You all here in Nevis and you don't hear any rare at all. Nothing at all about NHLDC unless it has to do with work. That's the only thing you hear. And Alexis Jeffers has to be applauded for that. And when it comes to constituency representation, Alexis is all about St. James's. So I have no doubt in my mind that he will be returned. And just over the way in St. John's, we have the Premier, the Honorable Mark Brantley. And Mark Brantley has been a champion for the people of Nevis. You know it, I know it, even the people on the other side in the NRP, even they know it. When they talk privately, they like to say, "Bye, thank God for Mark." They won't come out publicly and say it, but they say it privately all the time. And I have no doubt in my mind that from Pan Hill, going all the way down to Bath, that the people will be supporting Mark Brantley. We will be keeping the sheriff in town for another term as Premier. And right here in Gingerland, right here in Gingerland, your representative, a man of the people. Eric doesn't need any introduction, no matter where he goes, not in Gingerland alone, but anywhere in Nevis you go with Eric. Everybody knows Eric. On a personal level, he is a man of the people. And he is a man who is full of ideas and a hard working representative. We have seen him at work all over. And we have no doubt at all, because when it comes to Gingerland, look at the track record of the other side. They don't even bother to try to find good candidates. in this particular election, boss, I didn't even want to say anything. But in this particular election, the candidate running on the other side is not worth talking about. And I don't mean that in any bad way. I don't mean it in any derogatory way. But that is the reality. It's a one-horse race right here in Gingerland. So ladies and gentlemen, we are asking, we are coming before you with a record of service, a record of performance, good stewardship. And we are saying to return the concerned citizens movement to government with an increased and improved mandate. Show us that you have the same confidence in us that we place in you, the people of Nevis. You know, when you look on the other side, and I don't really like to talk about them too much, you know, but this afternoon I was passing through town, driving through town, and I saw some speakers at the DR Walwyn Plaza. And you know, I'm somebody who is very observant. So when I passed and I saw the speakers look noish, as we just say here in Nevis. They look noish. I know the speakers, I know who they belong to. And I know that NRP does use those speakers when they're having meetings. So I say, but wait, these people not learning. The DR Walwyn Plaza is a very unlucky place for the NRP, you know. Every election cycle, they go to DR Walwyn Plaza and they keep all kind of meeting and not a soul follow them. And then when election come, they lose. But here they are, still going back to the DR Walwyn Plaza. So I passed through and I saw the speakers. And a little bit later in the afternoon, I happened to be passing back. And I saw this fella on the mic in a green shirt. When the NRP was in government in Nevis in 2006 to 2013, 5 years and 18 null and void months, I think the guy used to be the advisor to the then premier. And when they lost in 2013, you all know, the same guy, he showed up to Bath Hotel at the time, where we had the office of the premier, show up saying he coming to do his job as the premier's advisor. Advisor to who? You understand? He was an NRP advisor, but he wanted to come showing up, say he has CCM advisor now. So I saw him in there talking, and if you all know who he is, you all know that not a soul in Nevis, not a soul in Nevis has studied with him. So when I pass, the gentleman is on the mic and daily somewhere on the side standing up. Not a soul else there listening to them. You understand? And the NRP is coming around to you, the people of Nevis, and saying, for the umpteenth time, that this is the new NRP. Because after every election and they get blows, they come back and say it's a new NRP. So now we have this set of the NRP going around and saying they are new NRP. Well, how could there be a new NRP and the same set of people still on the microphone? How could that be? And when they come around to talk to people, is the same set of old NRP from before they have walking around with them? Well, who does be bringing around the candidate for Gingerland? Because I know he don't know anything about Gingerland. I know he needs somebody to lead him around because he does not know his way around the place up here. So it has to be one of them old NRP. Well, how could they be new NRP? And you know the thing about them? They come and they say that they are new. But they have never come and apologized for the bad things that NRP has done to the people of Nevis in the past. They have never even come out and say, you know, those things that happened in the past were wrong. Things such as the disenfranchisement of over 200 people here in Nevis. Is 200, Alexis, or 3? Over 200 persons. Names were just taken off of the list. And you know why they did it? You know why? Because they did not believe that they could win an election without doing it. And that is how NRP operates. They don't want to leave it up to the people because it's all about them. It's not about you. When they come to ask for votes, they're not telling you to vote for them so that they could go and work for you. It's all about them. You understand? So when they feel that election is coming and they don't feel like the votes are going to be in their favor, they start to come up with all kind of things. Those of you who were listening last night, you heard the clip being played. The person who wants to be the representative for St. John's, she went over to St. Kitts on a radio station. And when she was over there, she started to plead. She wants the supervisor of elections to send over persons from St. Kitts to be the presiding officers in the Nevis election. But we have had persons acting as presiding officers in the past. Elections when CCM in government, elections when NRP in governments, they have all been overseen by Nevisians acting in these positions. Fear and upstanding citizens. So what this lady trying to say? That Nevis people can't be feared? That somehow we need to bring people over from St. Kitts to do this? You know, I think it's a disgrace. It's such a shame. And when she comes around and asks you for your vote, you all should tell her she need to go back on Freedom FM and apologize for those things. And then come back and ask. You understand? They're forward. They're very, very forward. But you got to understand, you know. They see the writing on the wall and it doesn't look good for them. So what they want to do? Anything that they could do to get a little bit of power. Doesn't have anything to do with service to the people. So ladies and gentlemen, we have to keep them out and we have to keep the concerned citizens movement in. You know, our candidates, they will come on the mic and they will tell you about all of the achievements that CCM has had over these past 5 years. You know, I heard the Premier's speech last night, just before he called the election. And the Premier, he documented and lists a lot of the achievements that we have had as a government. And so for anybody who is feeling a little bit unsure, what you can do is go and play back that speech again. It's good listening. Good listening. You hear about all of the things that a good government has been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, the Concerned Citizens Movement also has the distinction of being the only party here in Nevis that the people of Nevis can say has always consistently stood up for the people of Nevis. We have a record of doing that. When you look at the other side, they don't do that. They try to go and grovel to whoever they can grovel to get a little foothold. When it comes to CCM, we are always standing for the people of Nevis, on the side of the people of Nevis. That is how we operate. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my little bit for this evening. We have a lot of good speakers to come. You know, our speakers and our ministers and your representatives are so committed to the work, committed to working on behalf of the people of Nevis, that, you know, we have our speaker who will be coming on next, and he's here this evening on his birthday. You know, he could have been anywhere celebrating, but he decided he wanted to be here in Chickenstone tonight to bring the message of the Concerned Citizens Movement and to be with all of you. That is his commitment to service. Maybe the party happening here tonight. We're going to be at the bar. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the podium our first speaker for this evening, the deputy leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement and the deputy premier of the island of Nevis, the birthday boy. I want you all to tell him happy birthday this evening and welcome him, the Honorable Alexis Jeffers.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
CCM, tell them we gone clear. We gone clear. When the big blue machine touch on the scene, we gone clear. We gone clear. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger. Put them up, put them up, put them up. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger. Put them up in the air. CCM, yes, CCM. Tell them we gone clear. We gone clear. When the big blue machine touch on the scene, we gone clear. We gone clear. Show me your body finger. Your body finger. Show me your body finger. Say put them up in the air. Show me your body finger. Your body finger. Show me your body finger. Put them up. Put them up.
I see next side. Are you the try and lose? I see next side. Are you the try and lose?
Thank you, DJ. Thank you, thank you. I asked you to play a little bit more because the jingle is sweet. Sweet, sweet jingle. Good night, good night, good night. This is the voice of the Concerned Citizens Movement right here in Chickenstone. Good night to Chickenstone. Good night to Gingerland. I always come here and have a wonderful time here at Chickenstone, right here by Dolores. It is good to be here, and you heard Troy said tonight, I should be somewhere else celebrating, but Lord, I wanted to be at the CCM meeting. I wanted to be at this meeting because once you're campaigning, everything else take a back seat. I do believe that I'll have a chance to celebrate after these elections because, as Troy have said, and we've been saying it from time to time, we're going to win all 5, make history in this island. And with that, we'll have a big, big celebration. Birthday, election victory, everything all wrapped up in one. Who is with me with that? Everyone is with me, right? You hear? The whole of Gingerland say, yes, that's how we're going to be. So it's good to be here, and we had a wonderful time down in Church Ground last night. So we're continuing with the campaign. And I want to say from the onset, I ain't going to be as long. I ain't going to be as long. I spent almost an hour last night. I could spend another hour tonight, but I won't. But I'll say to you, that is because we have so many things to impart to the people of Nevis. We have a record to run on. We have a good record to run on. And we have plans for the future that will take us into the next 5 years and beyond. But tonight I just want to bring one simple message to the people of Chickenstone, to the people of Gingerland, the whole of Gingerland, and the people of Nevis. I'm also speaking to the people in the diaspora as well. Because all Nevisians who love this island, are following this campaign and want the best for Nevis. So they're following a CCM campaign. That is what they try to do from time to time to ensure that the best is coming out of this island. I want to bring this simple message tonight, that this is no time in our history to turn back the hands of time. This is a serious point in time in our history. The island of Nevis are facing serious times. And in serious times, you need serious leadership. You need a serious government. And you need serious representatives. So tonight we are here in Gingerland to support a serious representative for this area. That is the Honorable Eric Evelyn. And I want to say to you tonight that the people of Gingerland have continued to put their trust and confidence in the CCM and their representative since 1987 or 88, that they're about. So Eric is following in a long, long history of representation, following on from the Honorable Van Samry, now departed. But Eric Evelyn is a serious representative and have demonstrated that over the last 5 years. We have come tonight to say to the people of Gingerland, continue to rally with Eric Evelyn. Continue to support Eric Evelyn. He is the man for you, and he has demonstrated that he has your best interests at heart. But I'll speak a little bit more about Eric Evelyn a bit later. But let me say to you tonight that I started by telling you this is not the time to turn back the hands of time in this country or this island. We have to stay the course. And you know why I say we have to stay the course? When we took over the reign of government in 2013, and even up to when we were re-elected back in 2017, we were still dealing with some of the atrocities that NRP would have left behind. I don't want to spend a lot of time on NRP, but the truth is what it is. The truth is the truth, and it must be conveyed to the people, and you must be reminded of that. The mismanagement of the NRP of our economy, the mismanagement of the NRP of our finances, the mismanagement of the NRP in NHLDC, NEVLEC, NASPA, all of the institutions of government were mismanaged by the NRP. But as I have said from time to time, we are not a government or party of excuses. We have never come with excuses. We have brought the facts to you. We have brought the facts to you, and we have sought to remedy those difficulties. And that's what we have done over the years as a party in government. And when I say mismanagement, you heard Troy before. He said that over the years, when you have an election, you hear all kinds of things about NHLDC. We have sought to turn the circumstances around. Don't get me wrong, things are still difficult there. But you heard the mess that we had to deal with coming out of 2013 when we had a change of government. I want to point out to you that while you were having difficulties in this island, the people who managed the NHLDC then were having a wonderful time, a frolicking and overspending of what was there. I want to say to you that the former manager, when he was there, none of you in this island knew that he got $41,000 as a golden parachute, you call it, to go off to England. $41,000 when things were rough in this island, when people were suffering and having difficult financial circumstances. Boy, they didn't have to take up $41,000 and tell him, go to England with that. Not only that, he was collecting $7,500 every single month, and he was going to do that from 2012 September until June of 2015. Y'all didn't know that. We didn't know that. But those were our monies, hard-earned money of the people of Nevis that were going elsewhere. But your son, your daughter, your children, when they apply for financial assistance from the government, they were given maybe a $5,000 US a year. They were given 4/5 of their salary. But one man was getting $7,500 every month, and he was going to do that until 2015. They think they don't want us to talk these things, you know. But those were the kind of circumstances that we had to deal with then. And they're coming back again because they absolutely want to do the same thing again. But I know the people of Nevis will never repose their confidence again in that NRP. No matter if they come as the new NRP, the revamped NRP, it's the same old NRP, the same old policy, the same old thinking, and the same old set of people coming back. No matter who in the background waiting and lurking to get back into government, it won't happen. The people of Nevis must be reminded of these things. Because while we were suffering in this island and while they were going with all of these golden parachutes, you know, all of those debts that we had with foreign institutions like the Kuwaiti Fund, we had monies owed to the Republic of China, Taiwan for soft loans that we would have gotten. We had social security that was not being paid. An institution in Trinidad called Unit Trust Corporation. All of those, the NRP refused to pay them. Refused to pay them. CCM came in 2013 and we had to tie our belt tighter and make sure that those institutions were paid to redeem the good name of Nevis. That is what you do as a government. The CCM would have done all this to ensure that Nevis stay afloat, that the island of Nevis in the international community was viewed as an island that lives up to its responsibilities. So they come now again. We have done a rescue job of this island. They come now again and want to take over. Take over what? Take over where? By whom? Look on the other side and tell me which one of them over there, starting with the leader, can match up with our leader, Mark Brantley. Not one of them. Tell me which one over there can match up with Alexis Jeffers. And I said that tonight with no water in my mouth. Which one of them? None. Tell me which one of them can match up to Eric Evelyn as the representative of Gingerland and your minister of government who would have gone about transforming the social services sector in this island, culture and otherwise, and other things. Tell me which one of them could match up to Eric. Tell me which of them could match up to Latoya. She's new, yes, but tell me which one. Which one of them can match up to Spencer Brand in infrastructural development? Not one of them. So I went through our 5. Compare the 5 that they have to the 5 we have. Not one of them can match up. Not one of them can match up. And when you're looking for a government, you know, you're looking for class, quality, and people who can produce. All of us have a record of production in this island, whether in the private sector, public sector, otherwise. We have a record. And we can speak with authority because our record is there to show. And I want to say to the people of Gingerland, oh Gingerland, we want to rally with the CCM rally with Eric Evelyn because Eric Evelyn has proven himself. But I said I'm going to talk a little bit more about Eric. I get excited about Eric because we have worked together on many occasions. But I'll get back to Eric. But let me say this to you tonight. I've spoken about things that we have had to rectify. And as we go through the campaign, we'll speak about more. Because we can speak all night about the difficulties and the things that we have had to rectify. But let me say this. Over the last 5 years, I will say, and the Premier of Nevis have always said it, that we were robbed of 2 years of our term. And what he means by that is because we have had to deal with COVID-19 in a way that we never expected, because coming out of 2019, we had a wonderful year in 2019. And we were right on the brink of taking off to some wonderful things in 2020. You understand, Four Seasons were reporting that they had booked until July of 2020. All sorts of things were planned in terms of infrastructural development, but all those things were put on hold to ensure that we take care of the lives and the livelihood of the people of this island. And that we would have done. And you have always heard the Premier said, and I have said it, and all of us have actually said it as well, that there was no template. There was no book that you can read to deal with COVID-19. We had to learn pretty much on the fly. We had to learn as we go. And as we learned as we go, we were able to implement all of the necessary plans and programs to mitigate the challenges that we were facing with COVID-19. I want to say to you tonight that coming out of those challenges, we have been made a better island, a much stronger, a much more resilient island. And our leadership have been sound, secured, and he has done an excellent job. That is the Honorable Mark Brantley, to ensure that this island was protected. And we have benefited from that. We have seen the emergence of a film industry here on the island of Nevis. The NRP has knocked it. They have said all manner of evil about it. But the bottom line is we have had some superstars that has come out of Nevis. People who are working now, they're now directors. They're now, listen, you go on one of these sets and you hear these young men who are working there from Nevis. Quiet, action. Yeah, just like they do in Hollywood. Yeah, all people have talent. And that is what we keep saying to the people of Nevis, that we want to expose them to all of the finer things out there so that they can grow and make this island a much better place when it's all said and done. So persons are involved in the film industry. We have persons who are called extras. You know what extras are? You sit around a table and you get captured on camera. You look at the picture as one of those movies and you see people from Nevis in these movies. So all movie stars have gone abroad. All are foreign. And I am so happy that the effort was made to bring that industry to Nevis. And persons are benefiting financially in all areas, whether it's rental of property, whether it's rental of vehicles, whether it's the various eateries that we have here on the island of Nevis, restaurants and bars. Everyone is benefiting from that industry. That is a forward-thinking government who think about the progress of Nevis and pushing this island forward. But better things are in store for this island. I want to say to the people of Nevis, while we are in Gingerland, which we call the breadbasket of Nevis, agriculture is alive and well in Nevis, and the efforts are there to show for that. I want to say to you that we have invested in greenhouse technology. That is a prolific form of agriculture. And up and down Nevis, you see greenhouses adorn the landscape of Nevis. One of the best greenhouse producers is right here from Gingerland. He's right among us. And I don't think he mind that we call his name Mackie Truss. Oh, he said need 3 more greenhouses? I'm going to go find them for you, Mackie. Because you have proven to be the expert in that area. And you haven't even taken that technology and kept it to yourself. You have brought on persons on board. You have trained persons. And when you have the FAO, when you have ICA, Cardio, any of those institutions come to Nevis, the first stop they make is up by Mackie's greenhouse farm. You know why? The power of the internet, the power of Facebook, the power of technology. So right there in Rollins hard times, where Mackie have about 4 greenhouses, that is transmitted all over the globe to show that right here in Nevis we can do wonderful things. And money in it too, you know, Mackie only looks simple, you make good money. He wouldn't tell you that. But I say, what we want you to do, Mackie, is to continue in your pursuit. Not only you, Mr. Penny down there by Hosford, Richard Paris, all of those of you who in Nevis who have invested in that technology, continue to push it forward. Because you know what? I hear one of them making over $70,000 to $80,000 a year out of it. Lord of mercy, that's good money. But with the money, first you have to put in the hard work. You have to be serious. We secured 5 of those greenhouses in 2021. As the Minister of Agriculture at the federal level, one of the first initiatives that I introduced was the purchase of 10 greenhouses. 5 went to St. Kitts and 5 came to Nevis. Mackie was one of the recipients along with 4 others. You know the good thing is, Mackie already making money out of his. Mackie is already making money out of his. I want other people in Nevis to come on board because agriculture have money in it. Money is there to be made. You know why? People have to eat every day. Every single day you have to eat something. But not only in greenhouse technology, we have seen our farmers taking on board the advice of this government, whereby we have said to plant more, grow more, do more to propel agriculture forward. And persons are bought into that. It therefore means at some point, we'll be able to be self-sustainable in many areas. I know sometimes we have an abundance of tomatoes and other things. But not only in crop production, we are saying next year, the first quarter of next year, we'll introduce a broiler industry here on the island of Nevis, where persons who are involved in agriculture, of course, can also bring on board broiler production, whereby that would complement what they're doing in crop farming as well. If you're a farmer, you can farm in every area. So what we have said, those of you who are interested in getting into this industry, we'll make the feed available to you, concession available to you on feed. You'll import your feed, or wherever you get your feed, they'll be duty-free. The materials to set up your business, your plywood or whatever you need, wires, that kind of thing, machinery, all that would be duty-free. If you need a vehicle to transport your material and your feed, duty-free. Corporate taxes will be waived for 5 years. We want to set you up in a way so after 5 years you can assess and say to yourself, you have gotten the assistance of the government. Through that assistance, you have set up a viable business. And it will be a viable business. Here's why. Right now we have chicken coming from Barbados, chicken coming from Jamaica, chicken coming from the United States, chicken coming from even South America, Brazil, that is. But here's the interesting thing. When the chicken come here, it ain't fresh, you know. Our selling point will be you'll get fresh chicken grown here on Nevis. Some of the chicken that end up here will be in a freezer for 6 months or more. When they get here, they can't be fresh. They can't be healthy. We want to look after the health of our people, secure their health, and make sure that we can find a sustainable way of feeding our people, and that is through the broiler industry. Money is there to be made. Every 6 to 8 months, you'll be able to turn over your flocks of birds. Get them to the processing plant and make money. That is something to look forward to. We say that we are seeking to bring hope to the people of Nevis. We are seeking to bring something that the people of Nevis can call sustainable and resilient enough to ensure that they can make money, feed their children, send them to school, make some money to put aside for a rainy day. That is what we're going to build with that industry. So good things are going to happen. Good things are going to happen. And I want to say to you as well, not only that, the infrastructural development that we'll bring to the Van Summer International Airport and the Long Point support, those will be development that will see this island move forward over the next 5 to 10 years and beyond. I said to you before that when we're done with this island, we'll leave it better than we met it. Better than we met it, and the commitment is there from the Premier, from his cabinet, every one of us, to leave this island better than we met it. But the work has to be done. We're not going anywhere soon. And that is why I speak with authority and confidence. But ladies and gentlemen, I came here tonight to support Eric Evelyn, even on my birthday. I told him last night I could go anywhere and celebrate tonight. But I want to come here to support him. You know why? Eric Evelyn, all of you know him for many, many years. I've had a chance to work with Eric Evelyn since March of 2013. Before he became the permanent secretary, then there was a guy by the name of Daly. He was the permanent secretary. By February of 2013, I said I had enough with that man after 1 month. Because he was the permanent secretary of agriculture. The boy Hector was the minister. And the best thing they did for Nevis is bring cotton back to Indian Castle. You could eat cotton? Anyone I could eat cotton? I never hear much stubbornness in my life. A whole 35 acres of cotton down there, Lord of mercy. I watch it and I say, these people got to be power crazy. Anyway, that is their hallmark as minister and permanent secretary of agriculture, bringing back cotton. Cotton that we left since 1980 or in the 80s. But I brought in Eric Evelyn, and you know, the interesting thing, the conversation I had with Eric then, we were right on the verge of hosting our open day. Based on what I was hearing, I asked Eric, what should we do? Should we cancel? Because plans were not really in place at that time, you know. Eric said, Minister, we're going to pull it off. are going to have the open day, and we went ahead with it in March of 2013. Oh, no, we'll talk about that over, said James. Anyway, Eric said we were going to proceed with the open day. And it was a wonderful event when it was all said and done. But the reason why I'm pleased with Eric, as I was pleased with Eric as the permanent secretary then, Eric would have helped us to transform agriculture. He went down to Indian Castle, got rid of cotton, and started planting watermelon, pumpkin, and all kind of different crops down there. And Eric had a synergy in agriculture that I want to say to you. He would have brought about a transformation of the attitude that we would have had. The connection we had with our farmers. We build bridges, we mend fences, and propel agriculture forward since 2013. And that was Eric Evelyn. He's a man for the people. He worked with everybody, the old, the young, and the not so old. And that's why we were able to build agriculture here in Nevis through the exploit of Eric as the permanent secretary. I remember as well when we became minister and permanent secretary, the same day he had a greenhouse down there in Prospect. Lord, we went in there, right? And there was something, you all know about cherry tomatoes, those small sweet tomatoes? We went in there, and when we got in there, the stalk and the leaves were brown as ever. Boy, the greenhouse was as hot as a furnace. And then they pick a tomato and tell me, eat it. I wait till it turn it back and fling away. They eat what? That is what he left behind. But you go down there to the same greenhouse now. Eric would know that we spent over $40,000 to rebuild that greenhouse, to put it on the production. And of them said they're bright. And them said they know about agriculture. They say all manner of evil about Eric, but the exploit he has had as permanent secretary, none can compare. None. So I don't worry about them. And what we have done in agriculture since, listen, right in the backyard of Gingerland, we have gone down to Indian Castle. We have transformed that 35 acres down there. We have planted well over 5,000 coconut trees. We have planted passion fruit. We have planted bunga nut. We have planted sugar apple. We have planted soursop. We have planted bananas. We have planted watermelon, sorrel, everything you can think about. 15 different crops down there producing on that land. And that was because of the work that was put in by Eric Evelyn. And up and down Gingerland, the David Freeman Center of Excellence, all because of Eric. Roads have been built. Social programs have been implemented. And listen, the people of Gingerland must understand that Eric also sat around the table and came there with a passion for that Tivet building over there. What he said is that he wants the young men and young women of Gingerland to gain a skill, to gain the knowledge and the certification in skills such as plumbing, electrical, also in cosmetology and all those areas. Those will be taught there. And Eric have been instrumental in ensuring that that project was brought to fruition. So I want you to understand that Eric has been championing your cause here in Gingerland. And he'll continue to do so over the next 5 years. So we're sticking with Eric Evelyn. Where are we going? We're going nowhere. Because the gentleman who is running against Eric, I recall when I became the minister responsible for disaster management. I understand he was over at disaster management. I asked my permanent secretary then, not Eric, the one that I have now, Mr. Sergeant. I asked him, what does he do over there? What does he do? I was told he's over there sitting down. I said, I'm a hard-working minister. Everybody around me must be working hard. So he must find work to do. So Eric was a former communications officer. I said, the boy got a kind of good voice. Put him to be the communications officer in agriculture. Listen, it was such a disaster. We didn't get no new programming, maybe 1 or 2 new episodes on the farm. He was so lazy, he didn't get up to do nothing. So I asked the permanent secretary to write the gentleman and tell him to pull up his socks, get work done. You know what the man do? The man write a letter to resign. So he wasn't interested in working. He wrote a letter back to the permanent secretary and said he resigned. So I saying to myself, though these people don't want to work in government, they haven't done anything outside of government, I want to come into government to tell us what and to do what. To tell us how to start a business and run a business and never even sell a cup of Kool-Aid in Nevis. I can't understand that's what politics come to in Nevis. That some people who have been rejected, who don't do anything in their life, who are allergic to work, allergic to bill, and coming to tell us to vote for them. I never hear more foolishness in my life. But anyway, let's come out of here. Let's move on. Eric is the man. Vote for Eric in Gingerland. And Eric, when you're done by about 11, 12 o'clock, come give me some help. Come give me some help because we all need help. But you have proven that you have done your work. You have done the job. You have proven to the people of Gingerland that you are the best representative for them. You have proven to them that you have the temperament. You have what it takes to push this constituency forward. And so the people of Gingerland will continue to vote for you, repose their confidence in you because you have proven that you are the best man for the job up here in Gingerland. And you know what? I ain't going to hour tonight to know Brantley could stay there. I think I've had enough tonight because Eric needs to come. He is the star of the show. This is about Eric tonight. This is his night. So I'm going to give him a chance to come and put his record before you and to tell you what he'll do for the future. But just quickly, I like to touch on my leader because my leader is one of the best leaders we've had in this island. And I say one of the best because everybody will compare and contrast. But I'll say to you that the lady who he's running against, I want to say to you that she has said something that St. Kitts people must come over to manage our electoral process. No, this is not about St. Kitts or Nevis. Don't get me wrong. But it says how insulting they are to the people of Nevis, how they tend to denigrate the people of Nevis. You playing it?
I might be out of place, but I would like to suggest to the supervisor of election that you get a team of people from St. Kitts, and let Nevis people get upset with me today. Get a team of people from St. Kitts who has less of an vested interest in the outcome to man the electoral office in Nevis, and to the extent that we could involve them on election day, on polling day, to be the presiding officers.
I
might be out of place, but I would like to suggest to the supervisor of election that you get a team of people from St. Kitts, and let Nevis people get upset with me today. Get a team of people from St. Kitts who has less of an vested interest in the outcome to man the electoral office in Nevis, and to the extent that we could involve them on election day, on polling day, to be the presiding officers.
And that is what the NRP is bringing to the people of Nevis. Imagine that. But let me say this to the people of St. John's. Let me say this to Pat Bartlett. Pat, since St. Kitts persons or people from St. Kitts must come and manage the electoral process, maybe you should let somebody come and run in your place too. Let somebody from St. Kitts come and run in your place because you're not capable. You're not capable, and it suggests to me that you have no love for the people of St. John's, no love for the people of Nevis, no confidence in the abilities of the people of Nevis. And when people talk to you like that, you need to just tell them go where they're going. Send them away. They have no love for you. I tell you already, they didn't come into politics with no real reason to represent anyone. All of them have a reason that is a negative reason towards the people of Nevis why they're gone into politics. Let them come to serve. And I want the people of Nevis to understand that in this party, CCM, from the leader right down to Latoya, who is the youngest of all of us, we have come with a passion to serve. We have come with the abilities to serve. Because we have been there, we have been through the trenches, and we have been to the highest, we've been to the lows as well, so we have the experience of the good, the bad, and the indifferent. And that is why I do believe that we have the best team available to the people of Nevis. Best team. And we could go to St. Kitts and represent, we could go to Antigua, all over the Caribbean. Because when you compare, we have the best team right now, pound for pound. But I want to leave it there tonight and say to you in closing, continue to rally with Eric Evelyn. Continue to vote for Eric Evelyn. Continue to seek to get the best representation up here that you'll find in Eric Evelyn and the CCM. I want to say to vote for all of the candidates of the CCM. In number one, you're voting for Spencer Brand. Forget about the Rary and the Rara. Some of them down there with a life full of Rary and Rara. We don't want that in government. You come to number 2, and number 2, the candidate is already telling you that she's not ready for prime time because she don't want to run in St. John's. She wants somebody from St. Kitts to come and run in St. John's. That is what she's telling us indirectly. You come up to number 3. You have a man who is allergic to work, allergic to paying bills, running against Evelyn. So the choice is simple. You come over to number 4, and it's Zook for sure in number 4. Zook for 4 in... Hey, before I go, you all know NRP going St. Thomas? NRP is going St. Thomas, you know. I think they say Pat going and the girl Cleone. Guess what? The leader of NRP haven't gone back down there for 20 years, and for sure he's not going back. Free to go. He's sending them and decide, me? She said, me? Me not go away down there. Down the trouble there. But she hasn't come clean to the people of St. James, but we'll still ask tomorrow night. But you go down to number 5. And number 5 have come alive. It's all the way with LBJ down there in number 5. So it's a clean sweep. Clean sweep for the CCM. You know why CCM is the best party for Nevis? And we'll continue to work hard on behalf of the people of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen of Chickenstone and Gingerland, thanks for listening. It was indeed my pleasure. It is always a good time coming here. Thank you and have a good night.
Tell them we gone clear. We gone clear. When the big blue machine touch on the scene, we gone clear. We gone clear. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger. Put them up, put them up, put them up. Show me your body finger. Show me your body finger.
Easy, DJ Mikhail. Thank you very much, Honorable Alexis Jeffers. And he almost talked for an hour again, you know. Alexis making this thing a trend now. We got a lot of energy, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I'm so happy that the election has been called. You know, some people walk around and they say, oh, we want election, we want election. As soon as the election call, they start to cataflam all over the place. I can't believe they call election, you know. Can't believe they call election. I didn't think they would have called election yet, you know. I thought they're going to put it off till next year. But you know, right now is the appointed time. December 12th, that is the day. We're going to take them and we're going to put them out of their misery. Let them go back in the wilderness for another 5 years. Because, you know, Nevis people can't make that mistake. You know, when NRP go in government, they not go in government to do a thing for people. They got to serve themselves, to grab up for all for them. But CCM is about moving Nevis forward. CCM is about uplifting people. CCM is about giving people opportunities. And you heard Alexis say that whenever he is ready to finish with this thing, he wants to make sure that Nevis is in a better place than it was before he came. And that is what CCM is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, we are moving right along. Some more of our speakers have come, and so I don't want to waste any time. Well, before I do that, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be in Newcastle tomorrow night, right there by Kaki's shop at the bottom of Shaw's Road. And so I want to invite all of you to come out to Newcastle. We don't have such a good time in Castle, you know. In St. James in general, we have a really, really good time. St. James people like to come out to the meetings. So I want to invite all of you on a good Saturday night to come out to Newcastle. Well, we're moving right along. And the next speaker who will be coming to make his presentation is none other than the Premier himself and the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement. You see, he just told me, man, I want to come on the mic. Let me come to talk. So we're not wasting any time. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me to welcome to the podium the Premier of Nevis and the leader of the Concerned Citizens Movement, the Honorable Mark Brantley.
To have prosperity. So I will vote for CCM and Mark Brantley. So when you see hey, with CCM, trust me, it's no problem. They keep in the country.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening to the good people of Chicken Stone. We are here in Gingerland this evening for a very simple purpose. We've come to support the candidacy of the Honorable Eric Evelyn. I can't call him middle name because the middle name sounds familiar and you may get confused. So Eric Evelyn, that is the man. And if you're wondering why I have come now rather than come last, it's because I said to Eric, my job tonight is to support you. You are the man here in Gingerland, and my job as the leader of this party is to support you and to support your candidacy. The Honorable Eric Evelyn really needs no introduction. Unlike a lot of us, he was called, he was chosen by the people of Gingerland to come forward. And all that they asked him to do was to continue his long record of service to the people of Gingerland. You know, I hear them up and down seeking to criticize Eric. But they don't understand that a lot of what Eric does is to touch people's lives. When we won the government in 2017, we put Eric in charge of social services, in charge of community development, in charge of people's welfare. You know why? Because long before politics, that was what the man was doing. Taking care of people, interacting with people. When I campaign with Eric, it doesn't matter where on this island you go. People know him and people love him. Because that is how he has lived his life, a life of service. So when he came to politics, he was merely continuing that rich tradition that he has always had. And when I see what Eric has done, and when we went through this COVID-19 pandemic, and a lot of our people were struggling. A lot of people couldn't pay their rent. A lot of people couldn't buy food. A lot of people had lost their jobs. A lot of people fell into depression. It was Eric Evelyn and his team that came to the rescue. That is why sometimes they measure development in terms of road and building, and that is okay. That is important. But where the Honorable Spencer Brand can speak to roads and buildings, the Honorable Eric Evelyn can speak to lives that he has touched with that compassion that he has for people. And I'm saying that he's the best man for the job. I don't even come up here to say anything about who's coming up against him. The only thing I keep saying about the young man who's running against Eric is that the first I heard of him, he got in touch to say he wants to run for CCM in St. Thomas's. I would not have considered him, but certainly he considered himself. That's good for him. The next thing I hear, that he and some others are forming a political party of their own. That was the second iteration. And then the last thing I hear, he kidney cat and with Gingerland on an NRP ticket. That is why I have said NRP was not his first choice. NRP was his last choice. His last option was NRP. And that is why we understand that the people of Nevis demand and want better. The people of Nevis demand and want real representatives, real representation, people who have lived a life of service to them. Not people who just come and have come for their own self-aggrandizement, come for their own purposes, not for you. They haven't come for you. I don't know nothing about him paying rent. That is something beyond my pay grade. What I will say is that when I speak on a platform, I only come with the facts. I only speak to what I know and what I know to be so. That is why, no matter how hard they try, they can't sue me, you know. They can't sue me. I said something on the platform that there were some questions raised in the U.S. Virgin Islands about the time that the leader of the NRP spent there and how she ended up reaching Nevis in the dead of night. Some says a dinghy she came in on. And the question is asked. Now a young lady from Jessup's asks the same question that I asked. She sent lawyer letter to the young lady. Says she wants tens of thousands of dollars from a poor woman in Jessup's. So I said, why you don't sue the Hefe Toro? Since me and the man attack, sue me. Why you trouble a poor woman in Jessup's? Come for me. But you know what we saying, Brownhill? Monkey know all him to jump on. Monkey know all him to jump on. Because the lady said nothing different to what I said. But she sent lawyer letter to the lady. And that is why I'm saying they're not ready for prime time. They're not ready for service to the people of Nevis. The Honorable Eric Evelyn has been there. Eric tells me morning, noon, and night his phone is going off. You know why? People know that he's reliable. They know that they can trust him. They know that his commitment is to the people of Nevis. And more specifically, his commitment is to the people of Gingerland. Now, Eric did a short stint in St. Kitts as minister with responsibility for the environment. And Eric went off to Glasgow, Scotland. And I sat and I marveled at how this young man from Henley Park could walk on the international stage in Glasgow, rub shoulders with presidents, give a big speech up there, represented his country with a plum. That is what CCM brings, no matter what stage you put us on. We represent in Nevis, we represent in St. Kitts, we represent in the region, and we represent internationally. And I looked at him and I said, this is exactly what we need in our people. This is what we need in our representatives. People who can stand up and deliver on behalf of the people of Nevis. That's what Eric Evelyn represents. And so I hear Alexis said to him that when he finished by 11 o'clock, he must come down to help the rest of us. I am saying that Eric, the Eric I know, would be upset with Alexis for suggesting 11 o'clock because by 10 o'clock, it is all over. In fact, the Eric I know may well say that by 9 o'clock, oh Lord, it's 8 o'clock. Eric, 8 o'clock, some people still having their breakfast. But the bottom line is that we understand, ladies and gentlemen, that in Gingerland, there is only one man, and that is the Honorable Eric Evelyn. He has stepped into the shoes of the late, great Vance Emery, and he's performing with distinction on behalf of the people of Gingerland. That is why I say St. George, from Zion, the bottom of Zion, all the way here to Pond Hill, I want you to stick and stay with the Honorable Eric Evelyn. That is the man they call him the mayor of Handley's Road. He is now the mayor of the all of Gingerland. And he has the capacity, and he has the one thing that you need if you're going to represent people, and that is love for people. That is what Eric has in abundance. And no matter how they come at him and attack him, I will defend him because I have known him all my life. And he has always been the same Eric Evelyn, a man who loves people, who gives to people, who's always there for people. That is Eric Evelyn. And that is why I'm proud to stand here in Chicken Stone and say to all of those listening tonight, all of those viewing online, that in Gingerland there's only one man, and that is the Honorable Eric Evelyn. Ladies and gentlemen, we just came through COVID. And I believe by any measure, our handling of the COVID pandemic was first in class. We had the lowest deaths in the region. We had the lowest hospitalization rate in the region. And we had one of the highest vaccination rates in the region. We handled the pandemic well. And I will forever be grateful to Dr. Judy Nisbet and the task force for guiding the government. And grateful to the members of the cabinet
who listened and took advice, because sometimes, politicians feel they know everything. And they're not prepared to listen, but we listened and we acted. And let me tell you all something here tonight. We innovated when some would have laid down and said, Lord, woe is me, the sky is falling. We sat down, we had long sessions in the cabinet, and we said, what can we do? Let us come up with some solutions. Let us come up with some innovations. And that is why the Honorable Alexis Jeffers, who has stood tall among representatives from St. James and representatives from the island of Nevis, he stood up and we said to him, our people must eat, because we don't know what COVID will bring. We don't know if the port of Miami might close. And that is why we invested heavily in agriculture. We said to Eric Evelyn, we must have the social safety nets for our people. When our people run into difficulty, when they get laid off, we know that the government has to provide support. And Eric Evelyn stood tall and he delivered all throughout COVID. His department was in the forefront of ensuring that our people were taken care of. When, ladies and gentlemen, some people would have laid down and said, Lord, come for me, I don't know what to do. I reached out to a man, he was in Barbados. And I told the man, we want to make movies here in Nevis. The man came, MSR Media, and they have now done 8 films in Nevis and are currently doing number 9. Number 9. And when I spoke to a friend of mine from Atlanta in the United States who said to me that on a flight from Atlanta to Las Vegas, a movie filmed in Nevis was one of the movies showing on Delta Airlines. I said, imagine the promotion for our island. Imagine the promotion for our island. We now have 90 people employed. 90 people employed doing various jobs. People learning lighting, makeup, costume, movie business, cameraman, people who are dealing with editing. All aspects of that business being learned right here on the island of Nevis. You know what the NRP response has been? They're sending articles all across the world cussing the people. They say we have given the people money. In fact, I hear the ludicrous assertion that we are giving them $15 million. I said, Lord Jesus, I wish we had $15 million. That is what the NRP is saying. Well, I'm here tonight to say, yes, the Nevis Island administration is supporting the business. But here's what we did. In the middle of COVID, when all the hotels were closing down, you know what we did? We said, yes, we will assist. But here what we're going to do. We're going to pay the hotel. And we're going to pay where the crew is staying. And guess where the crew is staying? 2 years now, the crew is staying over at Hamilton Villas. And who own Hamilton? Now the same NRP nigga, them own Hamilton. So they might cost us, saying that we are spending money to support the movie business, and who will eat half the money? And them eat half the money. Somebody asked me how you could let the people go over there to stay because you know they got this government to kill. And I said, listen, I am Premier of all of Nevis. I am Premier of all of Nevis, and I will not box food out of anybody's mouth. Once you come to Nevis and you're doing business in Nevis, I will support that business. And that is the difference between us. Because there was a government in place. And I remember when I was practicing as a lawyer, I brought some business people here to do a hotel. And after I would have introduced and done everything, they call the people and tell the people, yes, we want the hotel, but you can't do business with Mark. You have to shift and do your business with somebody else because I was the enemy. So I guess they expect the same treatment, but no, not us. The people come and the people renting over at Hamilton. I say, once you're comfortable. And so the money that they're cussing about is going straight to them. Who knows? Maybe the same money they're going to use in the campaign against CCM. Of course, they're going to still lose. But I just make the point to say how
silly, how absurd, how foolish the arguments that they're putting out are. You mean to tell me that you're going to curse and abuse people who are here employing 90 people and paying them good money? Well, the families of those 90 people, I want you all listening. I want you all to listen, because you all can vote, and your family can vote, and your friends can vote, and your girlfriend and your boyfriend can vote, and your picnic can vote too. Let them understand what is being said here, because anything that's good, they seek to chastise, they seek to criticize. The water taxi pair over there, Lord, they got all kind of things to say. But watch them every day, walking to and fro on it, taking the water taxi. Now you know that you have a good government. When a government looks at an industry like the water taxi business, see that it is 100% division owned, and decide we're going to invest in it. $6 million to acquire beachfront property and to build that pier. And you know, in this government, we say, when we want it done, we give it to Alexis. And Alexis produced a first-class pier that they're using every day. This year alone, over 130,000 movements have happened on the water taxi pier. 130,000 movements back and forth on that pier. We don't start to count town yet, you know. We only over there by Wally. And we done gone back to the same Alexis. We say, Alexis, you do good there. Go and build the reception area now. So he's doing that at the moment. They can't bring themselves to celebrate anything about the island of Nevis. I hear one of them down here running against me. And every time she opens her mouth, she says how much poverty in Nevis. How much Nevis people hungry. All kind of problems. She sent me a message the other day on my phone. I don't know why she troubled my phone for. Send me a message, says she went canvassing and she met somebody who didn't have a toilet. So me say, what you messaging me for? If you meet somebody who have a toilet, why you not buy a toilet for them? You are a pensioner, you're collecting money every month. What is the point of coming to me and telling me that? Up to now, she not tell me who the person is, where them live, or nothing like that, but she tried to score some point. Say how her heart was heavy because she can't believe people are living like that. Well, for God's sake, help the man. Help the man. But you see, they're not about helping. If they see a man and the man is hungry, you know what they do? They go on the radio and they say, Lord, the man hungry. But if the man hungry talking about it on radio doesn't feed him, give the man something to eat. Or better yet, give the man an opportunity to feed himself. And so I said to her, you have a highly valued skill as a vet. You're up and down saying that people are out of work. We'll go open a little veterinary clinic and employ a couple of people from Brownhill. But why not? There are people down the range, up the hill and across the path, who could be part of that little clinic and make a little pay. But they don't want to hear that because they don't want to be part of the solution. They just want to stand up all day and cuss. Let me tell you all. Me born on a Hanley part. Me grew up on a Brownhill. And anybody in this world could cuss more than Hanley part than Brownhill. Nigga, I give them a medal. We know how to cuss. But nigga can't cuss like Harvey. We know how to cuss. And me keep telling them, cussing never solve a problem yet. Cussing don't put food on nobody's table. Cussing don't create one job. Cussing don't fix one road. Cussing don't build one house. So when we don't cuss each other, what happens? That is why when we come here, we come with solutions. We come with proposals. That is why Eric said we're going to build a TVET center over there at Gingerland. And the Honorable Troy Liebert, I'm going to bring him up tonight. He's not on the ticket yet. Troy, you hear that? Yet. But I'm going to bring him up tonight. Because over there, that TVET center, it was done through education. But guess where it is? Eric's alma mater. Gingerland Secondary School. And what will that do? That will revolutionize vocational training here. It will allow people to be certified in various technical disciplines. Something that we have been lacking for a long time on the island. And I know Spencer Brand is a fellow who wants everything for town. So Spencer, we bring in 1-2 to CSS. You see what a good premier I am? I let them carry them a Gingerland. I let them carry them a CSS. But me not complain, you know. Me not complain. Because a good conductor must make sure the choir sound good. So my job is to conduct the choir. Fellas, let me make it happen. And let me sing the same song, the same sankey. Let me sing from the same hymn book in the same pew. And that is the beauty of the CCM. You all now see that this party don't have no confusion. This party don't have no problem. No rare, no roro, no kind of confusion. In NRP, Cleon and Janice, like a cat and dog, them not like each other tall. No matter how you see them, I pretend. The only reason Janice entered politics is to keep out Cleon. That is the reality. Them had Cleon to be leader, you know. Janice said tall. No. And so Cleon get left out. You think Cleon don't know? Cleon no. They don't like each other. That is why I'm saying, you see, in this concerned citizens movement, you have a team. You have a team. Even though I'm leading the team, the fellas understand my leadership style is we do everything together. You know how much time I go in cabinet and I feel I got a big idea and I see mouth start to push up and I say, me better hush. Because them boy now go down this road with me. That is how we operate. Ask Brand. He come there all the time because you want to spend all the money at him. And we say, boy, go sit down with that. But one thing about him, you go come back 2 weeks later and bring it back to the back way in a different way because he fighting for his constituency. Nothing is wrong with that. It's St. Paul sent him. Eric gonna come and he gonna give all kind of story about Gingerland. Alexis gonna come, all kind of story about St. James. And soon and very soon, Latoya Jones gonna come and give a story for St. Thomas's. Because I'm telling you now, I'm feeling good, you know, we're gonna make history. You know, we made history in 2020. For the first time, the CCM won all the federal seats at Nevis. And the whole of Nevis turned blue. You know, we repeated that in 2022. When they say all kind of things about us, we, at the end of the day, demonstrated that we were the strongest link in team unity. Look at the numbers. Look at the numbers. And we bang them again, win all the seats. And I am telling you, you see this thing called all? It's not that I'm greedy, but I love all. I love all. I love all. And when I start to count in tongue, 1, Spencer Brand. I come up here in Gingerland, 3, Eric Evelyn. I go over there in St. James, 4, Alexis Jeffers. I come down there in St. Thomas's and the whole of St. Thomas's turn up, 5, Latoya Jones. They say LBJ, all the way with LBJ. And Lord, when we come up here, who gonna bang me? Who gonna bang me? Who gonna bang me up here? What cousin? Your cousin all say she vote for me. She says so now. Listen, I tell her when we come on the platform, I like to speak facts. I told you all that my cousin, my loving cousin, will vote for me. A lot of people say, listen, that stupid boy, what is he saying? I tell her the woman gonna vote for me. And she went on a radio station in St. Kitts and she said, she voted for me. Oh, no, his loyalties are divided. And I'm telling you, my cousin voted for me. And I just, you see, this is the irony. Because my cousin herself recognizes good representation, you know. She understands that the issue that has pushed her into politics got nothing to do with Nevis people. She recognizes good representation. That is why when she went singing the other day, she said that she voted for me. DJ, we don't got the clip. Why the DJ have? You could tell me not got the usual DJ. That one is slow like molasses. You want to give me a break? Okay. But I'm telling you, she went and she made an open admission.
As I know, and I can share this with you. And he has gained the confidence, mind you, of some people. Because I know, and I can share this with you and the audience, I voted for him the last election.
What you say?
And he has gained the confidence, mind you, of some people. Because I know, and I can share this with you and the audience, I voted for him the last election.
Oh, Lord. Well, that is why in the Bible they said Jesus wept. Jesus must weep because if you go on radio, sing, it's going to say you vote for me. And every day you cost me something wrong with you. Ladies and gentlemen, listen. Politics is serious business, you know. Politics is serious business. When we come and we ask you for your support, when we ask you to invest your confidence in us, you're asking us to make decisions on your behalf, to craft policy that will impact you. It is serious business. And we have people who are coming to it who are not coming with any seriousness. They're coming because of personal vendetta. Who vexed with who? Who don't like who? Who didn't get what they wanted? I don't know about that. That is what they're coming with. And that is why I'm here to say, listen, we have some big plans. We want to do that road along the south coast. I don't have man inside there give me quotation on the road. But we're going from Long Point all the way over to Hickman's. We want to open up the south of Nevis for development. That to me will be just like the Southeast Peninsula Road in St. Kitts. That has to happen. We want to separate the sixth farm. Troy Libert has already said it has to happen. It has to happen. Separate the sixth farm from the CSS to give us a standalone community college. We plan to do that. We are going to finish our Alexandra Hospital in the next term, get it outfitted, and ensure that we have a quality facility to take us into the next 40 years. That's what we're doing. We, ladies and gentlemen, will ensure that we harness geothermal energy. In fact, the Development Bank, Caribbean Development Bank, is meeting on the 9th of December. And I'm hopeful that before election day, we can come to you with good news. We are building Nevis. We are working for you. And I am saying that this post-COVID period is a period of recovery. It will present some challenges, but we always say that serious times demand serious attention from serious people. And we in the CCM are serious people. Now the rains are coming. And I got to be the Lord tell me, Mark, you chat too much. Because the sky was clear, and when I started to talk, especially when Pat said she voted for me, the heavens opened up. So, I don't need an umbrella, man. You see me here strong like a lion. Strong. Strong. We have come because we understand what it is to serve people. They are running on promises. We are running on our record. And it is a proud record. If any of you here work for government, for the last 5 years that we have been in office, and I have been privileged to serve as Premier of Nevis, 4 of those 5 years, our civil servants have got a double salary. Where else in the history of Nevis has that ever happened? I hear them make noise. I say, oh, now you pay them. I say, what? I'm going to negotiate for it. Is me bring it? Because I say, if St. Kitts going to get paid from our citizenship by investment, Nevis must get too. And we got ours over here. We will be paying an honorarium to the frontline workers who stood in the breach during COVID. By November 30th, they will get their $2,000. We have given the largest increase in the history of Nevis to public servants. 15% spread over 3 years. They don't get 5. January morning, they're going to get another 5. And then January 2024, another 5. Where in the world that happening? No. No. You give me bad advice. You see, that's why when I'm on the platform, I shouldn't listen to what people telling me, you know. 15% pay increase. We have, ladies and gentlemen, shown that our people matter most. We don't just talk about it. I hear the other side talking about empowering women. They say, oh, it's women time now, we're empowering women. This party hasn't talked about empowering women. We have done it. The very first elected representative in this island who was a female was the Honorable Jean Harris. CCM. And not a soul could have banged Jean. When Jean get tired and fed up, he said, Zook, you go along with the battle. And after Jean Vance Emery of blessed memory brought Hazel Brandy into the cabinet. And when I became premier in 2017, I went again and said, Hazel, come and serve with us in the cabinet. And here we are now, again with a vibrant female candidate in Latoya Jones, who will be joining us in the cabinet after the 12th of December. After the 12th of December, Lord, a lady contacted me today and she said, Mr. Brantley, I just want to thank you. I said, what thank me for? She said, my daughter wanted the election on her birthday. And the 12th is her birthday. And I'm so happy. I don't understand that this dog draw close. I don't know how to talk to animals, so nobody come too close to me. You understand? Go on about your business. You hear me tell you? The lady says she wants the voting on the daughter's birthday. It augurs well for the CCM. Let me tell you, when I discussed with the guys, I said we're going to keep it short and sharp and sweet. 10 days to the nomination, 7 days to election, and then everybody going to have a good Christmas. I know everybody going to have a good Christmas. You all don't get your double. Who going to get honorarium, get the honorarium. And we're going into Christmas, and we will have a good Christmas here on the island of Nevis. You hear anybody in Nevis talking about crime now? You remember crime was the biggest issue in our country? Well, Lord, I give CCM some credit now. We have been there working for the people, doing what is necessary. You all see that big CCTV command center? Spencer say he want it in St. Paul's again, so you get it. In the heart of town, CCM. You all see the Treasury building? You all remember the old one was burnt down by arsonists. I don't know what they were trying to hide, but they burned it down. We built it back. You all remember the condition of the Newcastle police station, where the police could not stay in that condition of disrepair. We gave it to Alexis, make it happen. The best police and fire station in the entire federation. Some say like it looked like Four Seasons. That is what we have been able to do here. Water taxi pier, movie industry, brand new CT scan up at the hospital. Lord, me ask them if they could scan my whole body, see if anything wrong with me. Me don't got nowhere hurt me, but me want to go in the scan too. How you mean? I want to go in the scan because the scan is a brand new CT scan. People from Sinkit's going to line up to reach over here. No more with the people of Nevis have to travel to Sinkit's or to Antigua to get a scan. And they say nothing happening. That is their cry. They up and down say they're marching against the electoral office. Say they're marching against electoral irregularities. And I say, well, the book on electoral fraud was written by the NRP. And them write the book. They have the dubious distinction of being the only party in the history of this island that a court of law declared to be null and void. Null and void. The judge tell them, go back to the polls. What you all did was fraudulent. And when they go back to the polls, what happened? We bang them. We bang them. And once there's a free and fair election in this country, I'm confident that the people of Nevis will continue to stick and stay with the Concerned Citizens Movement. So as I leave the stage, you all know my signature. A lot of cars park up here. If I in your car, your bloody horn. Chicken Stone must know and must feel the weight of the Concerned Citizens Movement. So let me ask you, CCM, are you ready? CCM, are you ready? Let me tell you, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 5 seats for the Concerned Citizens Movement. We're going to keep Nevis blue because the people of Nevis understand that we put them first. We are all of them and none of self. And that is why they will continue to vote for the Concerned Citizens Movement. As I leave the stage here in Chickenstone, I'm asking everybody in Gingerland to go out on December 12th and vote overwhelmingly for the Honorable Eric Evelyn. He deserves your support. He's a good man. He has served. He loves people. He is as clean as a whistle. I refer to him as the Hebrew boy from Hanley's Road. Give him that opportunity to continue to serve you. Good night, and God bless you, Gingerland, my hometown. God bless you. Thank you.
We're rolling with the big blue machine. We're sticking with the big blue machine. We're winning with the big blue machine. We're jamming with the big blue machine. I see next side. I see next side.
Thank you very much. Our leader, Honorable Mark Brantley. Ladies and gentlemen, Concerned Citizens Movement, we got energy. You know, I love being in Gingerland. We're not going to waste too much time. Just let me announce that tomorrow night we are going to be supporting the Honorable Alexis Jeffers over in Newcastle. And I want to see everybody in Newcastle tomorrow night. Let us blow up Newcastle tomorrow evening. You know, Gingerland is the first place that the Concerned Citizens Movement want to see it. You know, so Gingerland is special to us. And so we want to make sure that in Gingerland we send the right message. We know that come December 12th, that the Honorable Eric Evelyn is going to be returned the victor. But we want to make sure that Gingerland, you come out in your overwhelming numbers and make it a landslide victory. Make it a big victory. Let NRP know that we disappointed in them. You understand? They didn't even bother to bring a proper candidate in Gingerland. So let me send them back with the kind of candidate. You understand? Ladies and gentlemen, here in Gingerland, I want to welcome the star of the show tonight. You know, we saved the star for last. Long time ago, when you watch movie, the star always come out, you know. I used to watch wrestling when I was young, and the star come on last. Hulk Hogan come on last. And right here in Gingerland, we're bringing on the star. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise and welcome the representative for Gingerland, the Honorable Eric Evelyn.
Yes, we out here. We want to feel share, and we don't care. Yes, we out here. We fighting after up.
Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum. Increase the momentum.
Good night, Gingerland. Good night, Chicken Stone. Good night to all the surrounding areas. And I am so happy to be back. I am happy to be back on the campaign trail. I want to say good night to all the lovely people here, gathered here, Dolores and her crew, and all the folks who came to be a part of our meeting tonight. And of course, we want to say good night to all the folks who are listening via radio and are listening via the internet. And let me say good night to all the lovely people across the whole of Nevis and St. Kitts and throughout the region and wherever you are. I want to say a special good night to my good friend Verna up there in Hamilton. I was supposed to say good night to you when we came to Hamilton, but I was under the weather. And I want to say good night and thank you to all of the lovely people, the caring people who have called and have prayed. Because of course you would have heard that I was under the weather. But thank God I did not stay under the weather. I am back. I am back because I have work to do. We have campaigning to do because we have a victory ahead of us. We have an election to win. And ladies and gentlemen of Gingerland, your humble servant is here with you tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for rallying with me over the years, for rallying with me in 2017, in 2020, in 2022. And I am back. I am back, your humble servant, to ask you for your support again on the 12th day of December 2022. And I have all confidence that you will do what you always do. And you will do it in even greater numbers on the 12th of December 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, I have come this evening. I have a lot to say, but I got to take it a little easy because as I said, I'm just coming from under the weather. But tonight, ladies and gentlemen of Gingerland, all of you who are hearing my voice, and those of you who are listening via radio and the internet, I have come with my report card. My report card that I bring to you, that I've been working on for the past 5 years. And I'm very confident. I am very confident that the people of the constituency of Nevis 3, St. George, Gingerland, will give me a very high mark when I bring my report card to you. I have been working diligently for not only the people of Gingerland, but the whole of Nevis. You would have heard how I have revolutionized the Department of Social Services. So many things I've done in sports and youth and culture and so many more. But tonight, I want to focus on what has been done in the constituency of St. George, Gingerland. Because if I have to speak on all that I've done in all of my ministries, I'm not going to finish until tomorrow morning. And so I'm going to focus a little, just a little, on what I have done and what I have accomplished in St. George, Gingerland. And let me say from the onset, that the reason the people of Gingerland repose their trust and their confidence in your humble servant is because long before politics, long before 2017, I have been working for the people of St. George, Gingerland. I have been with the people of St. George, Gingerland long before 2017. And that is why the people of this good constituency, the people of Nevis 3, that is why they called me to be their representative. Because I've been working and working and working. That's all I have known all of my life. All of my life has been dedicated to the service of Gingerland, to the people of Gingerland, to the people of this beloved island of Nevis. And so when they called, I said yes. They had to do a lot of calling, of course. But I eventually said yes. And now that I've said yes, I have been working on your behalf. And ladies and gentlemen, let's go to my report card. In the area of education, take a look at the Gingerland Secondary School, my alma mater. Within a short 5 years, under the representation of your representative, we have brought a new wing that houses the principal's office. We brought new bathrooms. We have refurbished the labs, the science lab, the computer lab, the library. We have built numerous walkways. We have done so much to the physical plant of the Gingerland Secondary School. But what I'm mostly proud of, what I'm so proud of, is that new technical and vocational wing that we have brought to the Gingerland Secondary School. And we will revolutionize technical and vocational training starting right there at the new Tibet wing. For those of you who haven't come to Gingerland recently, next time you come to Gingerland, drive slowly and take a look at the great new look that this administration has brought to the Gingerland Secondary School. And I want to big up the Honorable Troy Liebud. Thank you very much. You've done a marvelous job right there at the Gingerland Secondary School. And even persons who support the other party, they are saying how great it looks right there in the heart of Gingerland. And ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot more that has been done there at the school that I have done personally, which I'm not going to get into tonight. Of course, I've made so many contributions. Financial, supplies, donations during graduation to the Gingerland Secondary School. And of course, when we pass there now, it looks so spanking and brand new that it almost looks like a college campus. It almost looks like a college campus. And the people of St. George Gingerland ought to be proud of what we have done there at the Gingerland Secondary School for education. When we go across to the Joycelyn Liebud Primary School, work has been done there as well. Of course, we have a wonderful state-of-the-art kitchen there under your administration. When we go over to the Gingerland Preschool, and I could stand corrected, but I believe the Gingerland Preschool is the largest preschool that we have on the island of Nevis. Minister Liebud, you may want to correct me. But we have done a lot of work there as well, extensive work there, expansion work at the Gingerland Preschool. And so in education, work has been done, and a lot of work has been done in St. George, Gingerland, and we are not going to stop there. We will continue. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of culture. The state-of-the-art David Freeman Center of Excellence. Over $1 million spent right there in the heart of Gingerland. We decided, listen, we have to decentralize things when they're happening in culture and other areas. And of course, we know that over the years, everything culture has been happening at the cultural village and the cultural complex. But your administration with the vision and your representative who stood up in cabinet and said, we must have a cultural center in Gingerland. And I want to thank my cabinet colleagues for rallying with me for us to invest in that state-of-the-art center in the heart of Gingerland. And because we have invested in that center, for the first time in the 47-year history of Culturama, the entire festival was hosted at that center in 2021. The entire festival. And I know Minister Brad always vexed with me when I say that, because nothing keep a tongue last year. Everything was in country. Everything was in Gingerland. Thanks to Europe and thanks to the concerned citizens, movement, government. And apart from just having cultural activities there, we have that center there that we can host anything. The Gingerland Secondary School have hosted at least 2 graduation ceremonies there. Only yesterday I was the MC for the Gingerland Preschool Christmas concert there. People are having all kinds of activities, church activities. It's a welcomed addition to Gingerland. In the area of culture, your representative has brought a vibrant steel pan program to Gingerland based at the Hanley's Road Community Center. Started by the late Honorable Vance Amory. And I took the mantle, I took the baton, I continued, and we have a fantastic program to teach our people, not only in Gingerland, but throughout the length and breadth of the island, the art of steel pan playing. And it has been going so exceptionally well. since we've started that program, we have a children's group, we have a teens group, we have an adult group, and trust me, people have welcomed the initiative to be able to learn steel pan. And I am proud, very proud, because those steel pan groups that have emanated out of Hadley's Road in the heart of Gingerland have been going through the length and breadth of Nevis and playing at various functions. And they have been playing well. And so culture is in good hands. Via the David Freeman Center, we are also ensuring that the cultural art forms, we know Gingerland is famous for the cultural art forms. We are ensuring that we teach them there at that center so that they can live on forever. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card here in Gingerland in the area of sports and sporting facilities. When I became the Minister of Sports, I made a pledge, I made a commitment, I made a promise that we will enhance all of the sporting facilities on the island of Nevis. And that is happening despite the fact that we have lost 2 years from COVID. That continues. And it will continue because when the election is called on the 12th of December, your humble servant and the CCM will be back in government. We will be back. And so the great work that would have started will continue. In our sporting facilities, we've seen recently the resurfacing of the hard court there at Cronies. We've seen extensive enhancement work right down there at Ball Pasture, St. George's Recreation Grounds. We've seen extensive enhancement work at the Hard Times playing field. We've seen enhancement work at the Hanley's Road Community Grounds. And I'm so proud to say that we have now been able to light the Zion playing field. The lights have already been installed at Hard Times. It's just that they haven't been switched on yet because we are working in collaboration with NEVLEC. And so sometimes the delays that we have are not entirely our fault. But I was so proud a couple of weeks ago when I went over to Zion and the lights over at the Zion playing field were switched on. I remember my good friend Sidney Newton saying a prayer to bless the lights. And Sterling and all the other guys were over there playing cricket under the lights at Zion. Thanks to your representative, thanks to the CCM administration. And that will continue, ladies and gentlemen. I said as well when I became the Minister of Sports that I will ensure that all sporting facilities across the island get bathroom facilities. We have done a bathroom facility at Zion. And more will be coming in the next dispensation. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of agriculture, and you would have heard it from the Honorable Alexis Jeffers when he spoke earlier. Gingerland used to be the fruit basket of Nevis. And under your representative and under your CCM administration, Gingerland is reclaiming that name. I am proud because all of my work life in administration and in the NIA was in agriculture. And so I'm extremely happy when we have so much things happening in agriculture and here in the parish of Gingerland. You go down there to Indian Castle, over 30 acres, fruits, fruit orchard. Those of you who haven't visited yet, you need to visit. You need to visit. All right. And all who have gone down to Indian Castle, everybody is impressed. Everybody is impressed. When we speak about agriculture, we talk about Mackie Truss. Go up there to Hard Time and see how he has revolutionized greenhouse production here on the island of Nevis, right here in the heart of Gingerland. I am proud of that. I am proud of that. And I want to thank Alexis. Alexis, who have ensured that the farmers of Nevis were not left out when they brought greenhouses into the federal government, into the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. And when you go up to Mackie's farm and you see the quality of the products there, when you see the quality of the lettuce, the tomato, the peppers, the herbs, the spinach, everything, it's second to none. Quality out of Gingerland. We are leading once again when it comes to agriculture. And it's happening under your humble servant that you gave the opportunity to represent you in the Nevis Island administration. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card continues. In community development, we've had improvements at the corn mill. We've had improvements right behind here at the Pond Hill Community Center. We've had improvements down at the Hanley's Road Community Center. I know when I got in as the minister, these community centers are used extensively, and people normally complain when they go to Pond Hill, when they go to Hanley's Road, the buildings are too hot. Your humble servant ensured that we now have air conditioning at Pond Hill and at Hanley's Road. So when persons come there to use those centers, they are comfortable. No more people are complaining that they are too hot. No more of that. Because your representative is ensuring that things and good things are happening in St. George, Gingerland, and on the island of Nevis. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of water. The Minister of Water is here, and I'm happy he's here, because under your caring administration, under your representative, we have a water reservoir up there at Stony Hill, recently installed. And I'm proud to say that right here at Pond Hill, we are in the process of installing another one. And so Gingerland people won't have any water woes. I also want to say in the area of water that for the first time, persons over in Harris got running water for the first time under your representative, under your CCM administration. Things are happening on the island of Nevis. Things are happening in St. George, Gingerland. Ladies and gentlemen, in the area of housing, of course we know that we have a lovely housing development over there at New River. And I'm so pleased every time I go over there, it keeps expanding. Because people are building. People want their own homes. Down at Rice's, your representative was instrumental in ensuring that we purchase land. I put Alexis to do all of the work because he's the one who can negotiate well. And so when I put him in contact with the person who was the owner of the land, he was able to negotiate a good price. And so we were able to purchase land at Rice's to ensure that people of the constituency of St. George, Gingerland, can also enjoy their own home. They can also enjoy their own home. And that is only the start, ladies and gentlemen. Your administration and your representative is working diligently on your behalf. And so, the housing project, the housing development at Rice's will only be the first start. And of course, we know that we've had other housing developments here on the island in St. George. But in the next dispensation, we will be looking for more lands, for more houses, because we know they are in demand. And the people of Nevis are a proud people, and people want to own their own homes. And your administration is ensuring that we give people that opportunity. Ladies and gentlemen, my report card in the area of infrastructure. We have a new building over there at Hard Times, the Interpretation Center. Of course, we know we have Nevis Peak, where a lot of persons like to go, especially when tourists come. And they like to take their tours. And so your administration, we would have built this interpretation center that lies right there in the heart of Hard Times, right there in the heart of Gingerland. And persons who are traveling up to the mountain and up to the source can go there and get some very pertinent information. Your administration, your representative, we are hard at work to ensure things are happening, and not only things, but good things. In infrastructure, we've had roads being done here in Gingerland, right down there at Cleggot, close to me, up at Rollins, down at Hanley's Road, over in the Zion Project. And more are there to come, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to tell you that things and good things have been happening in the parish of St. George, Gingerland. And when they don't have anything to say, they say, Eric, ain't do nothing at Gingerland and nothing happen at Gingerland. Well, all of what I've just outlined, you call all of that nothing? You call all of that nothing? Well, something got to be wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, your humble servant is ready and willing and able and competent to run for the next 5 years and to be your representative for the next 5 years. And that is why I invest all confidence in you. And I know come December the 12th, where your ex will be. By Eric Evelyn, by the hammer. And of course, what I have outlined a while ago is just an indication, a small indication of what has been accomplished in 5 short years. 5 short years that has been impacted heavily by the COVID-19 pandemic. And persons who believe they're smart, and I call them ridiculously smart and ridiculously bright, say that we always blaming COVID. But COVID is a pandemic that ravaged the entire world, the entire universe. And we are part of that global village. And so we were very much affected here on the island of Nevis. But thank God we bounced back. And we bounced back well because of the excellent work, the excellent management under the Premier and your cabinet of the Nevis Island administration. And so, ladies and gentlemen, in the next dispensation, which we know the people of Nevis will give to the concerned citizens movement, I have big plans for St. George and for the island of Nevis as well. All of us as representatives of our constituencies, we have big plans. And so, when you elect me on the 12th of December, 2022, and when I get back in government, when I sit in the Nevis Island Administration Cabinet for another 5 years, I will work hard for you. One of the first things on the agenda is the refurbishment of the Gingerland public market. And of course, that is close to my heart, because not everyone knows that agriculture is my heart. And so when I was growing up, the public market right there in Gingerland was a hive and a hub of activity. And we want to bring that back. You remember I just spoke about agriculture? I just said a while ago that Gingerland is regaining its name as the breadbasket of Nevis. And we just don't want to regain the name as the breadbasket of Nevis. We want our farmers and our vendors and all of our agriculture stakeholders to be able to ply their trade right here in Gingerland. Right here in the heart of Gingerland. And it will happen. It will happen under the next CCM administration. And so farmers, and those of you who are involved in agriculture, those of you who are involved in vending, the public market in Gingerland is coming back. And you can say, Eric Evelyn said that tonight. The public market in Gingerland is coming back. Ladies and gentlemen, as I talk about agriculture, Alexis spoke about the broiler industry. And I have news for you too. Because the broiler industry can be set up right here in Gingerland too. Right here in Gingerland. That broiler industry going to be set up right here in Gingerland. And of course, food security is very important to all of us. If we don't eat, we can't survive. And so that is why agriculture is so important. And it's so dear to my heart. And should be so dear to the hearts of many of us as divisions. And so the broiler industry is going to come. And it's going to come right here to Gingerland as well. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next dispensation, the David Freeman Center of Excellence that I spoke about a while ago, we have another phase to go. We have to put in the seating. We have to put in some shops and so on. We have to ensure that we're able to do classes there. And so we have a lot more work there to do, you know. Never mind it's looking so nice and spanking. And never mind everybody loves it. No. We have more work to do at the David Freeman Center of Excellence. And so phase 2 is coming. Phase 2 is coming, ladies and gentlemen, of Gingerland and of Nevis. Lots of work coming in the next term. Because as I always tell the people of Gingerland, we can't do everything in the first term, you know. We have to spread the work over. Because as I've said, and I said this in 2017 when I ran for the first time, that your CCM party not going anywhere out of government anytime soon. Not in the next 20, 25, 30 years. You are stuck with us. You are stuck with us. And you know why you're stuck with us? Because we love you and you love us. You see what we are capable of doing. We are the only party that is looking out for you. That is why our mantra is people matter most. And that is why we will always look out for the people of Nevis. And so phase 2 of the David Freeman Center is coming. We go across the road. Ladies and gentlemen, I see a couple of police officers here. And I want to see a facelift to that Gingerland police station. We always want to make sure that our law officers are comfortable. And I want to make sure that the law officers who are stationed here in the good parish of St. George, Gingerland, are comfortable as well. And so I will represent and make sure that the police station in Gingerland gets a facelift, a much needed facelift. Ladies and gentlemen, in the next dispensation, I know the people of Rollins have longed and longed and longed for their community center. That community center was promised ever since the Honorable Vance Amory was alive. And your representative will ensure that the people of Rollins, that your long wait will be over because your community center will come. Ladies and gentlemen, in the area of sports, we will continue to improve and enhance our sporting facilities. We have done some work, yes, but we have more to do. We have done some work there at Cronies. I remember earlier, about 2 years ago, I took the Minister Brand up there and I said, we have to build some little stands here So that when persons come to play basketball, to play netball, to play tennis, that people can sit in the stand and watch them. We are putting up new lights right there at the hard court. Because of course we know that we have a retrofitting project going on where we're retrofitting all these sporting facilities. And all of them are getting new lights. All of them are getting new lights under your caring administration. And so that hard court there in St. George, Gingerland, will get its bathroom. And it will get its stand as well. Because we want to ensure that we improve. I know over at Hard Times, and I see Wise and Keith and the other guys are here tonight, and Justin and the other fellas, because they have been agitating for years. Even before I became a minister, even before I became the representative, they have been agitating, and that is why I am proud that very soon they will be switching on their lights up there. Very soon the lights will be going on. We're just waiting for the 3-phase electricity to go up there, and they will be getting their lights. And they will not only get their lights, but we're going to ensure that they get proper facilities up there as well, their proper stands. Because we know when we have the Village Premier League being played at Hard Times, it's like carnival up there. It's a hive and hub of activity. People absolutely love going to the Hard Times ground. And because it is so heavily utilized, we must ensure that we improve and enhance that wonderful ground there at Hard Times. We will continue to work on the grounds at Zion as well. And we will light Ball Pasture, the St. George's Recreation Grounds. We will light the Hanley's Road Community Grounds. Because we want, when our sportsmen and women go on these sporting facilities, that they are comfortable. I'm sure you would have heard a lot about the refurbishment of the Grell Hall Stevens Netball Complex in Charlestown. And those of you who haven't gone yet, you really need to go there and have a look and see what your administration has done. But I want to make a plug. When we do all of these work, when we make all this investment, when we spend all this money, we want our people to utilize the facilities. And not only utilize the facilities, but to take extra good care of the facilities. Ladies and gentlemen, your representative will ensure that in the next dispensation, we will continue the infrastructural work here in St. George, Gingerland. We have roads to do as well. I will rally for the people of Rollins. They have been asking, and they deserve a new road too. And your representative will ensure that you get your new road too. We have Meats Pasture. The folks at Meats Pasture has been asking. We have Taylor's Pasture and Maynard Ground. We have Crooks Ground. We have Rice's. We have roads to do as well. And so in the next dispensation, we have River Path. In the next dispensation, roads will continue to be constructed throughout the length and breadth of St. George, Gingerland. Ladies and gentlemen, your representative will not be sitting idle, because we will ensure, I will ensure as well, that we get more lands for more housing development in the parish, the good parish of St. George, Gingerland. And so your representative will be working very, very hard when you send me back to government. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, in this campaign, we of the Concerned Citizens Movement, we have been running a very positive campaign. Very positive. You hardly hear any negativity at our campaign. And I have decided that I'm not going to spend much time on the other party, because they don't deserve our time anyway. Because that is a party that is out there like a boat without a rudder. They're sinking. They are underwater. And they're going to go way underwater come the 12th of December. But you know, as I said, I don't intend to spend much time on them. But in this campaign, ladies and gentlemen, in this campaign, we must highlight this scandalous lie that that party has been perpetrating all over Nevis and saying nothing happening on the island of Nevis. Now, could you imagine? Did you hear the Premier's address last night? Did you hear the report card of the Concerned Citizens Movement? Did you hear Minister Brantley at Hamilton the other night? Did you hear Alexis over at the town hall meeting? Have you heard all of what I have said tonight? And imagine the insult. And the people of Nevis ought to be insulted. We are intelligent people. And we ought to be insulted when persons who said they are highly educated can say on a daily basis that nothing is happening on the island of Nevis. And so we must continue to expose this lie. And you know what bothers me most? You know what bothers me most? That a lot of the people who are telling this nasty lie, this scandalous lie, there are people who go to church every Sunday, who ain't preaching, singing in the choir. And every day they go through Nevis and say, nothing happened. With all of what have been outlined. And the good thing about it, when we come, we always come with our facts. We come with facts. And so on this platform of the Concerned Citizens Movement, we don't lie. We bring the facts to you. And you know, it is strange. Very, very strange. That persons who reside here on the island of Nevis could continue to perpetuate this lie and say nothing is happening. When persons who visit the island of Nevis are always marveling at the absolute transformation that we have brought to the island of Nevis. I was at a funeral this past Saturday, at the Anglican Church, right there in Gingerland. And when I was finished in the cemetery, I came out and I was talking to a few persons who were there in front of the church. And I had to laugh and I had to marvel because I witnessed something there. And every time I think about it, I just have to smile. I saw a supporter of the other side standing there in the conversation, and I never see somebody get a dose of hush so quick yet. And why that person got the dose of hush? When I came out and I started to talk to the folks, the sister of the deceased who resides in the US, she was sitting there with a couple of her relatives from overseas. And I spoke to them. I introduced myself. And one of the ladies, I think she's from England, she said, "Are you into politics?" I said, "Yes, I'm the representative for this area." And the sister for the deceased, who is from Henley Part, from all down to the bottom of Henley Part, you know what she said to me? He said, "Sir, who is responsible for this lovely road that we have in Hanley's Road?" She said, "I never knew I could get to Hanley's Road so fast." She said, "I never knew." And I said to her, "My party is responsible for that road." He said, "Well, thank God for your party. I want you to tell the people in your party, thank you." And she didn't stop there. I asked her, when was the last time you were in Nevis? She said, 11 years ago. And you know what she said? "I have seen so much progress on the island of Nevis since I was last here. And you can tell me that people who come and visit can see it so easily, and people who live here can't see it? Something wrong. Something dead wrong. So the lady said, Mister, I am so happy. Please congratulate your colleagues. You all are doing a marvelous job. And Lord have mercy. The supporter of the other side stood up there and she turned her face up to the mountain. And she couldn't say another word. She couldn't say another word because she knew the lady was telling the truth. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day who visited from England. And I could call his name Bundy. Bundy is my friend. And Bundy said to me, boy, Eric, when me come back on Nevis, when me go on Henley Park, me last, me don't know when me there. And you know what? That transformation of Hannis Road took place under your CCM-led Nevis Island administration. I have a good friend visiting here from England. I spoke to her yesterday. She comes very often. She was here about 3-4 years ago. She didn't come because of COVID. And when I spoke to her, one of the first things she told me, I see so many good changes on the island of Nevis. Everybody who comes to this island, they are proud of the work that your administration is doing. Why can't we on the island of Nevis band together and said, we are doing a marvelous job? But it's bad mind on the other side. Bad mind. I spoke to a friend of mine. He called me from the Virgin Islands today. From the Virgin Islands, and he comes here very often. Very often. And he said to me, every time I come, I see more developments. And you know, he said something to me today. And when he said it to me, I couldn't laugh harder. Because you know what he said to me? He said, listen, I am in tune with everything that is happening on the island of Nevis. I'm listening to all the meetings. I'm sure he's listening tonight as well. And he said, boy, based on what's going on in Nevis, based on what's happening in Nevis, CCM are going to win 6 seats this time. He says CCM are going to win 6. Because his thing is that you all have done so much that you all deserve 6 seats. And he said to me, are you going to win 6 seats? And so I want to tell the premier we're going to look for another chair in cabinet. Because we have done so much that I am confident that we're going to win all 5. But my friend in the US Virgin Islands say, you're all going to win 6 seats. You deserve 6 seats based on the work that you have done. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be wrapping up shortly. But before I do, I want to remind the good people of the island of Nevis that an election is looming. D-Day is coming. The 12th of December is coming. And we want to make it a historic day for the island of Nevis. And for the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis too. Because we want that when the votes are tallied, it will be all 5. Troy said something earlier tonight, and I believe he was looking into my head because I intended to say it when I come up here. This is football season. It's a World Cup. And this is a World Cup. This is a World Cup class team here in the CCM. And so it's going to be 5-0 come election day. And I want to tell you something else too. Your humble representative for St. George Gingerland, I going to kick in the first goal on the 12th of December. I am going to kick the first goal in. I'm going to try to get a good pair of football boots. I don't know whether it's going to be Spencer or Lataya who going to kick in the second one. But I believe Spencer going to kick in the second one. Lataya going to kick in the third. Alexis gonna kick in the fourth. And Dr. Brantley will kick in goal number 5. And so it will be 5-0 in favor of the CCM. Your CCM party. Ladies and gentlemen, rally with your CCM team. Rally in number 1 with Spencer Brand. In number 2 with Mark Brantley. In number 3 with yours truly. In number 4 with Alexis Jeffers. And in 5 with Latoya Bianca Jones. It will be history in the making. It will be all 5 for us. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my quota for tonight. Thank you, St. George Gingerland. I am counting on you once again to send me back to government and to send the CCM back to government. Thank you. Good night. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend.
When the big blue machine touch one